So I want to take a moment and I want to document something just because it's so insane. It's kind of like when I found that little pamphlet in the middle of the street after having gone down to the alley where I got saved. Today I was talking to Jim and I was talking to the guys and I said, you know, the Lord has communicated to me very clearly that the time is coming very quickly. And I just hung up the phone with Jim about talking about Putin and the tidal wave that would be caused by the Russian torpedo that they've been front loading everybody with. The Russian torpedo that can travel 3,000 miles and deliver a payload that has a nuclear warhead that will deliver a tsunami that can take out an entire coastline, a radioactive tsunami. I literally just hung up the phone with Jim from the Ark. We were talking about how the pundits on the news, how they're front loading everybody. They're all saying, "Oh, something has changed." You hear it all the time now. Something has changed about Putin. Something has changed. He's a madman. And they're saying it on all the channels. And I told Jim, I said, dude, the Lord showed me now after the event has happened, the get together in the Ark, now prepare yourselves. So anyway, I just hung up the phone from that phone call and we were talking about everything I just said. So anyway, then I decided to go grab some Thai food. So I called it in and then I was coming over in the neighborhood to get it. I just didn't want to go sit in their parking lot. And then in my spirit, I just heard going to Ross. Look, you see that Ross Dress for Less? It's just not something that I do these days. I don't go walk into Ross Dress for Less. I just don't do it. It's not somewhere I go. Maybe back in the old days. I didn't really go there in the old days, actually. But anyway, so I want to show you what happened. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put it on here and keep like a running video of this whole thing. So as I got here, I stood out in the parking lot actually for a while. There was a guy that looked just really sketchy, like he was checking out people's cars and stuff. Like, you know, maybe he looked very sketchy looking at people's cars. So I stood out here in the parking lot just for a minute, just seeing what he was doing. And then I just, in my spirit, heard go in. So go into Ross. I think that's kind of a weird thing to be told, right? Go into Ross Dress for Less. Anyway, let me show you what happened. So I'm walking in the door right now. Here we go. Anyway, so I walked in the door and I just walked over this way and I walked over here and I just looked down at the pile of wallets. It says last minute must-haves. Interesting. Didn't spend any time there, but just walked right over here directly to hang on one sec. Sure. This is even weirder. So, yeah, so I'm here at Ross. I just walked over here. I think I'll go ahead and grab it. I push these back. I'm going to go ahead and grab that, share it with you guys. So what's odd is there's another one right there. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and grab it. And then I'll take it outside and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I am literally just walking out with exactly what happened. I just went ahead and grabbed it. So, like I said, as I pulled up, I was just gonna go grab some food for lunch. And then as I got here, there was a guy walking around this parking lot and he looked really sketchy, like checking out vehicles. So I thought I'd just stop and keep an eye on him. But I heard in my spirit, go into Ross, right there. I just thought it was so strange. Like, go into Ross. Like I said, it's just not a place that I would go into. It's just not something I would. It's just not in my wheelhouse, as Cory puts it. Not that anything's wrong with it, it's just not something I would really do. Okay, so I went ahead and repositioned my vehicle. I was very close to the front door because I want to document all this, and I don't want to be standing right there while people are walking by. So I went ahead and got this shirt. It's right here. I'm calling Jim on the other line right now just to use him as a witness.
Thank you for calling TBT Distribution. This is Jim. I can't come to the phone.
So Jim's not answering the phone, but I'll get him in just a moment. So what happened is literally staggering. It is staggering. I was just telling Jim, now they've set up the entire, the stage has been set to detonate that nuke that's printed on the $100 bill, that's printed on the $10 bill, that shows a tidal wave covering New York. Okay, so I went ahead and repositioned my vehicle. I was very close to the front door because I want to document all this, and I don't want to be standing right there while people are walking by. So I went ahead and got this shirt. It's right here. I'm calling Jim on the other line right now just to use him as a witness.
Thank you for calling TBT Distribution. This is Jim. I can't come to the phone.
So Jim's not answering the phone, but I'll get him in just a moment. So what happened is literally staggering. It is staggering. I was just telling Jim, now they've set up the entire, the stage has been set to detonate that nuke that's printed on the $100 bill, that's printed on the $10 bill, that shows a tidal wave covering New York. So that was part of the prophetic utterance the Lord God gave me when before Obama became president. And I'll play it for you in this video. On the US currency, it shows a tidal wave covering a 7-story building. And then the new $100 bill came out way back then in 2014, after I had prophetically described an event that was a tsunami destroying, as it was mentioned in the prophetic utterance, the city by the sea. It's New York. The Lord showed me it's the East Coast. Anyway, so what's so fascinating is I was just on the phone with Jim talking about how all the news stations are saying, oh, something's changed in Putin. You can tell. And they're all talking about the whole new change that's going on in him, and they're all saying the same thing. And then the front loading of the torpedo that goes 3,000 miles, and the torpedo can create a tsunami that destroys an entire coastline. I'm going to show you what's on this shirt. So look, can you imagine while I'm having that conversation with Jim, just literally, I pull into this parking lot right after I hung up the phone with him, having that conversation. And then when I have that conversation, I walk into that building right there, and exactly what was that conversation is now sitting here on my tailgate. Exactly what we were talking about. Then I gave him the money, and then I gave him the money to pay for it, and the lady says, here's your change, $9.19. And normally, like I said, you know, some people have they go off on this kind of stuff, and I don't do this unless I'm led by the Spirit. So the Lord told me, look up $9.19. It means to breach by water. Let me show you what's on this shirt. Let me prove to you what's on this receipt so you can see it yourself. Let's see. You know what? I'll just hold it down on the tailgate of my truck. And then, again, to breach, and it means by water. Do you know how crazy that is? Do you know that that's beyond impossible? So here is 919, and it means a leap, a gap, a leak, a breach with water. So that's 919 in Hebrew. And then let me show you what's on this shirt. I want you to look at this. The night I got saved, it showed me a guy going into a stairwell, walking into 3 flames. Here's a guy running through an exit. Look, see it? It says exit. See it? Exit. The night I got saved, the Lord told me, go into the stairwell, go into the fire. This is a guy walking through a door, running through a doorway like a fire escape. See it? Exit. Now watch. It's a tsunami. And look what it says. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Look out, out, out. Check this out. Just look at this. Can you imagine walking in there after just hanging up the phone with Jim? 919 means a breach by water. There is a tsunami. There's a guy running through an exit sign. It says, look out, look out, look out, look out. And so it is. Let me show you the back of the shirt. Here's the back of the shirt. A force of nature. And what's that force? Look at this. And so it is. A force of nature. You know, the right side up, upside down paradigm that I tell you about all the time? I mean, I don't know if you guys completely and fully understand what you're looking at, or hopefully I'm describing it well enough. I'll stitch these videos together and then I'll make a commentary on it. But this is more impossible than finding that. That's more impossible than finding the rock in that riverbed, guys. It is just not possible. But you're looking at it. I was just about to put this whole thing up and I just heard, look, show them. Look where it is, Brooklyn Cloth, Brooklyn, New York. I mean, I just did, that's on the $10 bill. That's same as a $10 bill, guys. That's what I've been showing everybody what's gonna happen. Now look at this. Look at the arrows. Do you get it? This is a spirit that's front loading everything on a shirt. This is literally just a spiritual front load of what's coming, and it's printed on a shirt. And the Lord walked me into a building to prove it to me. That's no different than going into the art gallery to get me to go to Tsunami. Here it comes, folks. Okay, so I got to do 1 minute segment. So Jim, guys, Jim just called me back and I'm just documenting this. And so Jim, I just hung up the phone with you a few minutes ago and you were mentioning how you were perceiving the war getting started. And I stopped you and I said, you know, Jim, look past the puppet show. What's coming right now is the tidal wave that's printed on the U.S. currency, the destruction of New York, which is printed on the $100 bill. Is that the conversation we just had a few minutes ago?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so anyway, and so I kind of stopped you and I said, yeah, pay attention to the puppet. No, don't pay attention to the puppet show, because what's coming is already printed on the U.S. currency. And that's the prophetic utterance that the Lord gave me back in 2007 before Obama became president. So anyway, so we just had that conversation just very brief a few minutes ago, right? Can you hear me or no?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I've been trying to get a hold of you for the past 15 minutes. So if you subtract 15 minutes from right now, we basically had just hung up the phone on that conversation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so anyway, all right, so now guys, I'm just documenting. This is Jim on the phone with me, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop my video, but there's Jim calling me back. I pulled back up to Ross because I'm gonna continue documenting this. Okay, stay there, Jim. Okay, so I'm on the phone with Jim. Say hi, Jim. Okay, there you go. So, okay. So, see, there's Jim on the phone with me again. Hang on one sec. So anyway, so I walked back in and I was out. Jim, we just made our short little bit out in the parking lot. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go in and see if I can get that shirt in an extra large. And so I walked back in, I walked over here to get it. And I didn't see it, but I pushed back. The only shirt I pushed back was this, New York City. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and document that as well because it's just not even possible. All right, Jim, hang on, let me let me do this. Now I'm going to try and document what just happened because I'm flipping out legitimately. This is so miraculous. It's hard to describe. I was talking to Jim right there. Jim called me, so I documented it inside my truck. I hung up on the video and I said, Jim, I'm going to go inside, see if they have this shirt is in an extra large so I can wear it in the video that I do for everybody because it's so unbelievable. So I go back into Ross to see if they have another shirt. And I go over to where it was, and the one shirt, I push the shirts open, and the shirt I push open says New York, New York City, New York. Well, that's what I just said. I said New York's about to get nuked with a tidal wave. And that's what this is all about. I was like, what the heck? And then I look over, and then there, laying on top of the rack was an extra large, so I grabbed it. I was like, okay, and this was the only other one, by the way, so I got this one. When I went to check out, it was 1946. Right when I was in line to check out, my head, like I was a robot, just stared right at something. I'm like, what am I looking at? Kind of like what happened with the rocks in the riverbed. I was staring right at the word Omega up. Oh, it said Omega and an arrow pointing up, and it said up. So I was like, that's crazy. So I photographed it. Then I go to check out, and the guy goes, 1946, please. And I hear the guy say, I hear the Lord say, look up 1946. Guys, I'm legitimately flipped out. 1946 means to go up again, to go up. And I was just like, you got to be joking me. You know, the word for to go up is huk, H-U-K. There was an Asian guy at the get-together. There was an Asian guy at the get-together up at the Ark during the night under the stars. There was an Asian guy, and he asked me if I had my hook shirt, and I couldn't really understand him. And then once we got to talking, I understood he was talking about one of the shirts I've done videos in. It says H-U-K, hook. And he told me that in his language, hook can either mean love or it can mean to burden. And so at the get-together, at the night under the stars, I think he was from maybe Vietnam, he said, hook. If you say it short, it means love. If you say hook, it means to burden. So I went to Academy on the second day of the get-together, and I went and I specifically bought that man a hook shirt. And so at the get-together, at the night under the stars, I think he was from maybe Vietnam, he said, hook. If you say it short, it means love. If you say hook, it means to burden. So I went to Academy on the second day of the get-together, and I went and I specifically bought that man a hook shirt because the one he was asking me if I would give him my shirt, and I said absolutely, but I didn't bring it on the trip. So I went to Academy and I bought him a hook shirt, H-U-K. That's why he wanted it, because in his language it means love or it means to burden. Jim knows that as well. When I looked up 1946, in Hebrew, it's hook, H-U-K. Because the one he was asking me if I would give him my shirt, and I said absolutely, but I didn't bring it on the trip. So I went to Academy and I bought him a hook shirt, H-U-K. That's why he wanted it, because in his language it means love or it means to burden. Jim knows that as well. When I looked up 1946, in Hebrew, it's hook, H-U-K. And so at the get-together, at the night under the stars, I think he was from maybe Vietnam, he said hook. If you say it short, it means love. If you say hook, it means to burden. So I went to Academy on the second day of the get-together, and I went and I specifically bought that man a hook shirt because the one he was asking me if I would give him my shirt, and I said absolutely, but I didn't bring it on the trip. So I went to Academy and I bought him a Hook shirt, H-U-K. That's why he wanted it, because in his language it means love, or it means to burden. Jim knows that as well. When I looked up 1946, in Hebrew, it's Hook, H-U-K. Okay, Eric, I'm documenting this right now. Okay, guys, listen, everything I just documented right now, literally, I just hung up walking out of Ross with my second shirt with the tidal wave and the New York shirt. And then the Lord said, look up 1949. 1949 is Hook, H-U-K, and it means to go up. I will tell you the testimony about the guy that was at the get-together while I'm narrating the video for what I'm recording right now. But, okay, look, see my phone? It says Eric Carlos. So Eric just called me while I'm trying to process the, I guess, 5 or 6 miracles that just happened. And I'm trying to process all this. And Eric just called me. There he is on the phone. And I'm telling Eric, well, hang on. Eric calls me to tell me, hey, Johnny, you remember the Seinfeld episode? Now go ahead, Eric. Say what you said.
Yeah, I actually called to tell you that I sent you 2 emails. One's from Texas News Studio saying that Vladimir Putin's nuclear forces are on full alert and they will be conducting real-time alert maneuvers. And also that I was led to go to the Obama Seinfeld limousine ride where Obama says, I can call a nuclear submarine right here with a push of this button. And so I sent you those 2 emails.
So that's, okay, so guys, did y'all catch that? So Eric was calling me right now literally to say the same thing. It intersects the exact same thing. Texas News Studios is saying that Russia's put their nuclear thing on high alert. And then Eric went and looked at, and then Eric went and looked at the scene from Seinfeld where Obama, say it again.
It's Obama and Seinfeld are in his limousine, Obama's limousine, and he says, I can call a nuclear submarine with a push of this button.
Okay, guys, do y'all understand everything that just happened is confirmation on steroids and more steroids and HGH? I mean, there's just no way. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 slam dunk supernatural things in a row. Get ready, last minute. We're at the moment, guys. It's coming any moment. I mean, it could happen before the day's over, but I hope the Lord lets me make this video and get it out. Hey, Eric, I'm going to call you back.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys, I'm trying to process what just happened. Do y'all understand? I'm going to stitch all these little clips together. I'm going to have Dave stitch all these together right now. I'm going to go home, say, Dave, stitch all this stuff together. I'm going to make it one video. I'm going to play this whole thing. And then after y'all watch this menagerie of insanity, here it comes, man. Here comes that $10 bill and the $100 bill, nuclear devastation. Everything the Lord told me was right. He showed me yesterday. Now it's time. Here we go, guys. All glory to God. Put your faith in him, guys. To go up. Hook. Hook means love, by the way. The Asian guy told me in his language, H-U-K, hook means love. And it can also mean burden, depending on how you pronounce it. Hook or hook. It's like either you say it a different way, same exact word.